WrestleMania 33 just happened, and wow, it was a show. The ending was, but I'll speak about that towards the end of this video. I'm going to go from start to bottom of the card and say what I thought of WrestleMania 33. Starting off with a cruiserweight match, Neville versus Austin Aries. I think it was fine. I don't think they were given enough freedom as they probably would have got, say, if they were on NXT or even the Cruiserweight Classic, but I think it was a fine match. I really enjoyed it. There were a few fun spots, say Neville's snap German suplex was obviously really fun as always. The deadlift suplex was always fun. The ending was brilliant, I thought. I think it can continue the feud. The raking of the eyes. Austin Aries can kind of go back and say, you didn't beat me clean, stuff like that. And I think, yeah, it continued the feud, so it was fine. It wasn't brilliant, it was just fine. Then moving on to the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Mojo Rawley won.
Fuck Mojo Rawley.
Johnny says, fuck Mojo Rawley. That was shit. That was genuinely so bad. Like, I was so annoyed. I thought, okay, Braun's eliminated, Sammy's winning. Sammy's eliminated, Luke's winning. Mojo wins. At the end, I was generally chanting for Jinder Mahal. Juiced Mahal, the Vein himself, Jinder Mahal, I was chanting for. Because Mojo Rawley is so crap. Like, it was so bad. Like, I'm not going to get hung up it, but it was crap. Then moving on to the Intercontinental title match. Shouldn't have been on the pre-show. Feel really bad for Dean Ambrose. He worked so hard in 2016. He wrestled something like over 300 matches for the WWE. And then he gets relegated to the pre-show at WrestleMania. And it's the Intercontinental Championship. The match was alright, I guess. I think it would carry on to Extreme Rules, where they have a stipulation where I think it'd be 10 times better. But I just think the placement there was just so bad. And it was quite annoying to see the Intercontinental on the pre-show and Dean Ambrose on the pre-show and Baron Corbin on the pre-show when they've been doing some quite different and interesting stuff. Moving on to the main card and the first match, AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. Didn't expect this to be the first match on the card, but it was generally really, really good. It was really fun to watch. Few fun spots was Shane jumping off and going through the table, going for the shooting star press, the phenomenal forearm to win it, the 450 splash into the triangle chokehold, to the lift, to the Styles Clash was brilliant. The match exceeded all my expectations. I thought it was really, really fun to watch. It wasn't the best wrestling match. Like, there was a lot of matches that were better wrestling matches on the card, but in terms of having fun and just kind of enjoying a match for what it is, I think this was brilliant, and I think there was a lot of cool spots, and it was paced very well to keep me entertained, and all of us entertained when we were watching it. I just think it was a pretty good match. Then moving on to another match which I think was weirdly placed on the card, but in the end was kind of rightly placed on the card. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. It was the second match on the main show, and I thought it should be one of the last. I thought it should have been the main event, personally, with the Universal title involved, but it was second on the card, and the initial time I thought, this is stupid, but as the show got later on, I kind of realised why they did it. The match was fine. It was alright, it was everything I kind of expected it to be. I feel it was a little bit too short, maybe 5 minutes too short. I think they definitely could have got a bit more out of that match, but it was cool. Like, I liked it. Obviously the storytelling was going to always be good in it because the story is so good itself, so it's kind of hard not to have that good storytelling in the match. But yeah, I really, really liked it. It could have gone on 5 minutes longer. But obviously the show went over by like an hour and like 20 minutes, so fair enough, they kind of had to cut it. So yeah, overall it was fine. Moving on to the women's Fatal 4-Way match, which I was really disappointed in. It didn't compare to the Triple Threat of the year before. That was brilliant. This was kind of rushed. I can see why it was rushed, obviously because they went over, but this was really rushed. They should have had a solid 20 minutes to do like what they could do. Nia was eliminated really early, then Sasha was, and then Bayley won with the kind of Randy Savage elbow, which It would have been feel good and fine, like if it went like 13 minutes, what it did. If Bayley was winning the title, it would have been fine. Like I would have been happy with that. That would have been great. But the fact that she was retaining, and it was only 13 minutes, and the match wasn't that brilliant, and Sasha and Nia got eliminated early, wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't think it was the best match. I didn't think it was paced very well. The eliminations were awkward times. The elimination of Nia was brilliant. I think it kept Nia strong, but it was too early. And then Bayley winning, but just retaining, was a bit annoying. I think she should have won at Mania. She should have won that title at Mania. But that's small things to pick out of a match that was kind of disappointing to me. Moving on to my personal favourite match of the night. My favourite match of the night was definitely the tag team match, purely because the Hardys returned. I popped so hard, we all did. You'll see it in the reactions video for the Hardys returning. Them winning, popped hard. Jeff Swanson popped hard. It was all brilliant, and that's what I have to say. I was so happy when they returned. John Cena versus The Miz. Yeah, it was alright. The Miz should have won, but the whole proposal thing, it's two people getting married at the end of the day. That's what it is. And you've got to respect that they're two human beings getting married. It's a man and a woman getting married. Just because they're WWE superstars doesn't mean you should shit on it. Like, because The Miz didn't win. They won, they got married. Fine, feel good moment. I'm happy with it. Match could have gone longer, again. But obviously the show went too long, so I can see why they cut it. Seth Rollins versus Triple H. Brilliant. No faults of it whatsoever. The only thing I would have booked, personally, Finn coming in and turning on Rollins, starting the NXT stable. Apart from that, safe booking, good booking, brilliant storytelling. Steph going through the table was fantastic. The sequence with the pedigrees was amazing. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Seth Rollins using the pedigree to win. While his pedigree isn't the best thing in the world, I think it still worked in the overall full circle of things coming round. I think the match was brilliant and fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it, and we all enjoyed it here. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt only went on for about 10 minutes. The ending was very random. Well, I have to say, the storyline was brilliant going in, but the ending was just out of nowhere. Pun intended, pun not intended. But yeah, he RKO'd him, and it just ended. I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't a good match. It was alright. It was fine. But the storyline was so good. I expected so much more, but it just didn't deliver. Like, because they didn't give it the time. But again, like, they went so much over. It's like they could have sacrificed so much to give matches more time, but they just didn't. So yeah, I guess it was fine. That's all I can really say about it. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, on the other hand, brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Liam Darren absolutely fucking hate it, and it was fantastic. All I would have changed is Goldberg would have took one more F5. At the start, I would have started at F5. 1-2, kick out, spear. That's what I'd have had. Everything else, couldn't have changed it, couldn't have booked it better myself. And the penultimate match, Naomi winning the women's title, the SmackDown women's title. My girl Alexa didn't win, but what are you gonna do? It was rushed, obviously. I can see why they rushed it. It was kind of a toilet break match, I'm not gonna lie, because they had like the 3 kind of big matches at the end, so they had to put one in there just to split it all up so they could go toilet and get the popcorn and drinks and stuff like that. But it was alright, yeah. Naomi winning was probably the right decision, even though I would have had Alexa retain, because I really like Alexa, but that's just a personal thing. Naomi winning was definitely the right decision, I think, because it is a hometown. Cheap pop, good for the long term, I guess. And now, for probably the biggest talking point, apart from, bigger than the Hardys, Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. The match itself was never going to be a 5-star classic. I don't think it was very good, the match was. There was some fun, towards the end there were fun storytelling points, the spear, kick out, and then the bouncing off the ropes, then spear, and then the whole, you don't have to do this, like Roman Reigns like mouthing that to Take. I think that was brilliant. But there was a few botchy, kind of awkward moments. But Taker's 50, like he's over 50 years old.